first question that is commonly asked or commonly used to counter the BDS campaign is, isn't the BDS campaign counterproductive? Doesn't it hurt Palestinians? And when being asked this question, it's important to keep in mind that 170 civil society organizations endorsed the BDS call when it was first issued. These organizations are from the three main parts of the Palestinian people, meaning those in the occupied territory, in the West Bank and Gaza, as well as inside Israel, and more importantly, Palestinians of the diaspora. To say that BDS is counterproductive is like saying that these Palestinians are not smart enough to know what they want, or intelligent enough to pick a resistance strategy. This argument is very paternalistic and colonial, because Palestinians are mature, smart people, and we consciously chose BDS as a resistance strategy. That said, we are also aware that all methods of resistance have a consequence and have a cost, but we're conscious of that and are willing to suffer the consequences, so to speak, of the BDS campaign in order to achieve our right of self-determination and our basic rights. The second question we are often asked is, doesn't the BDS campaign hurt the Israeli peace movement? And the movement inside Israel that calls itself a peace movement is predominantly supportive of Israel's racist policies, and covers up for Israel's crimes and aims to keep Israel as a Jewish state. So most peace movements, or so-called peace movements inside Israel, are Zionist by nature and adhere to the racist Zionist ideologies. That said, our only true partners for justice and peace are the Israelis that believe in all basic in all the Palestinian rights. The first being an end to occupation and colonization, the second being an end to discrimination inside Israel, or full equality for Palestinian citizens of Israel, and the third and most important is the right of return for Palestinian refugees according to UN Resolution 194. Such a group does exist. It's very small but very influential, and they call themselves, and they go by the name of Boycott from Within, which is short for Boycott, supporting the Palestinian call from within. The last question we are asked, or the last frequently asked question in the BDS campaign is isn't the BDS campaign anti-Semitic? And it's good when being asked this question. Palestinian civil society targets Israel with BDS for its violations of human rights and international law. Not only so, but this boycott is institutional rather than individual. So we don't call for the boycott of individual Israelis, and we don't call for the boycott of Israel because it's a Jewish state, but rather because it's a colonial state that is oppressing Palestinian people. So it wouldn't have mattered if Israel was a Hindu state or a Christian state or a Muslim state, as long as it's colonial and as long as it's oppressing Palestinians. The second thing that this argument claims is that the Jewish state is the representative of the Jewish people, or that all Jewish people around the world are represented by the state of Israel, which is a false argument to start with, and one that feeds into anti-Semitism as well, because the Jewish people are not one and they are not represented by one entity or state. Palestinian academics and intellectuals issued a call for the boycott of Israeli academic and cultural institutions in 2004. So the call for the academic and cultural boycott of Israel was issued 1 year before the BDS call. And there are a number of reasons for the boycott of Israeli academic and cultural institutions, and it's mainly because the Israeli Academy is so complicit in Israel's crimes and oppression, more complicit in fact, or has a closer relationship with the Israeli government and army than is the case in other countries. Israeli academics serve in the Israeli army for 3 years and continue to serve for a shorter period of time every year. Other than that, a number of documents or doctrines that were used in Israel's oppression of Palestinians or Israel's military operations were in fact publicly developed in Israeli universities. And an example is the Dahya doctrine, which was publicly put together at Tel Aviv University. In addition, the Israeli Academy has been silent in the face of Israel's oppression of Palestinian academic institutions. To give a quick example, Birzeit University was shut down completely for a period of 3.5 consecutive years in the First Intifada, and not a single Israeli academic institution voiced its objection to this oppression of the basic right of education of Palestinians, let alone taken measures to end the blockade of or the closure of Palestinian universities. In terms of the cultural boycott, again it's institutional, and cultural institutions in Israel are largely state-funded and largely used to whitewash Israel's crimes, to rebrand Israel as is the campaign name, to give another image of Israel, one that is not of war crimes or violations of human rights, but rather a prettier face for Israel. And this is why we call for a cultural boycott of Israel as well. A majority of Palestinian civil society has called on people of conscience around the world to impose boycott, divestment and sanctions initiatives against Israel until it complies with international law and the basic Palestinian rights. Over the past 5 years since the call was issued, BDS has proven to be the most effective way of holding Israel accountable for its violations. Given Israel's continuous oppression of Palestinian people and its continuous crimes, may it be the ethnic cleansing in Jerusalem and the Naqab, or its lethal siege against Gaza, or its most recent attack on the Freedom Flotilla, the situation now is more urgent than ever for holding Israel accountable for its violations, thus BDS.